Chapter 19, Fetching Mr. Chen. Yang Hui knew that Chen Hao was an honest person. In spite of his vanity, he would not have deceived them by making such a phone call after those people left. Everyone wondered what happened. Is it true that Chen can bring us to the hot spring villa? How is that possible? Listening to Yang Hui's question, Chen Hao didn't say anything but smile. He was trying to tell them, soon, you'll know. Excuse me, sir. Will you still be dining here? Or, a pretty waitress came to them and asked politely. Although she was trying to be polite, she couldn't hide her scornful attitude. Of course, she knew who was the one who ordered the food, looking at the current situation. She knew that all the pretty girls had left with the two rich young masters. Meanwhile, all the customers in the restaurant looked at Chen Hao, Yang Hui, and the others with smiles on their faces. They felt humiliated, as if their girlfriends were being snatched away in front of everyone. That was why the pretty waitress came over to ask them if they were still having meals in the restaurant. If not, they should quickly pay the bill at the front counter. No. Please help us pack all the food. We'll bring it over and have it in the hot spring villa. Of course, Chen Hao could recognize the disdain in their eyes. Seeing that Yang Hui was so upset, none of them had the mood to continue eating here. But it was indeed wasteful to leave a table of food here. The pretty waitress and people who sat near them laughed profusely when they heard what Chen Hao said. FCK, is this dude a fool? Who does he think he is? It's just a table of food and they still want to pack it. And they want to bring it over to the hot spring villa. Don't they know that one main course in hot spring villa cost more than the table of food they ordered here? Haha. I guess they are just seeking validation after the pretty girls they invited have all left with other guys. College students nowadays only care about their pride. They are not shameful at all when they brag about themselves. The people around were mocking them in whispers. This made Yang Hui and the others feel awkward. They couldn't help but keep quiet with their heads down. The waitress rolled her eyes and looked at Chen Hao with derision. In that case, who would like to pay the bill? Me, Yang Hui said immediately. This table of food cost as much as 800. It was half of Yang Hui's monthly living expenses. Chen Hao packed the food on the table into plastic bags. He ignored the laughter and scorns from the others. Broom. Meanwhile, 3 luxury cars drove toward the restaurant and stopped right in front of the entrance. Whoa. There are 3 Rolls-Royce Phantom. Damn, who's the rich guy? This car cost millions each. Not only the car model is incredible. Look at the car number plates. The car number plates of these 3 Rolls-Royce Phantom were special sequence numbers of 6, 8 and 9, which were 66666, 88888 and 99999. These special sequences of car number plates cost about 1 or 2 million. Soon, the cars outside gained the attention from all the customers in the restaurant. Even the waitress was astonished. Is the owner of the cars coming to our restaurant to have a meal? Will I gain attention if I am the one who welcomes the car's owner? She quickly tidied her uniform and trotted to the door. Let's see if the owner is here to have a meal. 3 men got out of the cars. 3 of them were in their tidy black suits with sunglasses and earphones. They looked exactly like the bodyguards of VIPs on TV. They retained a very strong and solemn aura. Sir, how can I help? The pretty waitress welcomed them immediately. However, the men didn't even look at her and went straight to Chen Hao, who was packing the food. Mr. Chen. 3 of them bowed with 90 degrees and greeted him politely. What? Mr. Chen, they called the fool who boasted just now as Mr. Chen. Everyone in the restaurant was dumbfounded. Yang Hui and the others were even more surprised. What's going on? Is Chen Hao that awesome? Chen Hao had finished packing the food on the table. Alright, Hui, let's go to the resort by car. Mr. Chen, we'll take these. A few bodyguards rushed to his side and took the food from Chen Hao. Yang Hui and the others followed Chen Hao out unbelievably. Mr. Chen. Have a good day. Upon reaching the entrance, the pretty waitress greeted him in a hurry with a pale face. Chen Hao only nodded his head. His face was blushing as well. The stares from the public made him uneasy. They got into the cars quickly and were on their way to Hot Spring Villa. In the car, Yang Hui couldn't stop himself from asking Chen Hao, what's going on? Chen Hao felt it was too early to tell them everything. He said, Hui, I'll slowly explain this matter later on. But remember, your business is my business. I will make them regret the embarrassment you suffered today. Yang Hui and the rest stopped asking but nodded their heads in surprise. Soon, they reached the villa. Initially, the drivers were supposed to take Chen Hao and his friends to the VIP room for dinner. They even arranged a lot of entertaining activities for them. But Chen Hao noticed that Yang Hui and the rest were tense with the bodyguards around. In fact, Chen Hao felt uneasy too. Chen Hao let the drivers go back once they reached their destination. They planned to have dinner after exploring the villa. Damn. Chen, you're so cool. You really brought us to this villa as you said. Li Rui couldn't keep from admiring him while walking around the villa. Hehe, I am acquainted with the CEO here. Order whatever you want. Enjoy yourselves to the full, Chen Hao said smilingly. Ah. I know now. Chen, let me guess. The CEO that you mentioned is the dad of the girl that you saved the other day. And he is also the one who gave you the VIP shopping card as gratitude, am I right? Well, I guess so. Those cards were indeed sent to him by Li Jinghua upon his sister's order. Yang Hui and the rest finally understood. They felt safe to enjoy themselves. The villa was extremely huge, and it took up the space of half of the mountain. The view around the villa compound was breathtaking, but there wasn't much for them to do. The hot spring and the restaurant were actually inside the resort. After becoming familiar with the surroundings, Chen Hao said, let's go in. We'll have dinner first, then we can take a bath in the hot spring. I've checked online. They mentioned that people were prohibited to enter the resort if they did not plan to consume in the resort. Is that true? Leroy asked curiously. Actually, it was enough for him to just have a look around the villa compound. He knew that not everyone could stroll around the villa compound. Don't worry, Chen Hao gave him a smile. This villa was run by his sister, but it was registered under his name, so he wasn't worried about it. There was a plain-looking bridge connecting the villa compound, which was the outer section, and the inner section of the resort, while Chen Hao and his friends entered the inner section. They met Zhao Yifan and the other girls who were taking photos. Look. It's Chen Hao and his friends. How did they enter the resort? Lin Jiao recognized them at once and said surprisingly. Zhao Yifan was having a conversation with Zhuang Chang. Hearing Lin Jiao, she frowned and turned to look at their direction. Indeed, it was them. How did they enter the resort? Zhao Yifan asked in surprise.